how would a change in your life make your life so much better? Taking control of your habits is a great place to start. Habits are the foundation of my success, and they shaped my future more than I could ever expect. So in this video, we're going to explore why focusing on habits is more powerful than chasing big goals alone. How habits are developed. Why small habits have a massive impact over time. And why forming positive habits is better than breaking bad habits. I underestimated the power of habits, believing that success only came from big, massive actions. But without the right daily routines, even the best goals can fall short. By building positive habits, I created consistency and momentum. The consistency and the momentum I needed to reach my most ambitious dreams. So are you ready to learn how habits can transform your life? Ready to discover the secret to achieving your goals? I hope so, because here we go! When I first started my mindset journey, I thought all I had to do was set a goal, and the universe would wave its magic wand, and poof, all of a sudden my goal would be achieved. Back then, at that time, I came across SMART goals. This is it. This is the holy grail. If I made a goal that was specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, I believed there was no way I could fail. Except I did. I would set a weight loss goal or a wealth goal, and I didn't achieve them. As I went worm deep on it, that's what my son calls going down the rabbit hole. He calls it worm deep. As I went worm deep, I made some revelations. The first revelation I made was that setting goals, though extremely important, you need to know what direction you're traveling in. But setting goals isn't how you achieve those goals. Setting goals gave me that direction, but ultimately it was the habits that achieved those goals. Without me developing new habits, I would never achieve my goals. You see, it's listed right here. I use this workbook. Too in my workshops. But it says goals identify behaviors. Behaviors create habits, and habits achieve goals. Success is about doing small things consistently, even when you don't feel like doing them. So there it is. Habits are what creates or achieves your goals. Habits is something that naturally happen. This is really good news. Habits naturally happen. Our minds are very fertile spaces. Our minds don't care what we plant in it. Our minds will grow whatever that is. Whatever we plant, our minds will grow. And in addition to that, there's studies out there, both from Harvard and Duke, that explain how most of our waking day is spent in autopilot. Depending on who you listen to, it's somewhere between 40 and 50% of our waking day is spent in autopilot. That autopilot is habits. So if we can throw a lasso around that horse and rein him in, we're in really good shape. So why is this so important? Have you ever swam up current, against the current? I grew up in New York City, out by JFK. My house was literally on Jamaica Bay. It was on a small canal attached to Jamaica Bay. And every summer, we would go swimming. And every time I swam with the current, it was like easy. Like I was just swimming. I didn't even realize how far I made it from the dock. But then I'd have to turn around and I'd have to swim back. And that was swimming against the current. And every time I swam against the current, I always got tired. And I got tired almost immediately. I became overwhelmed and worn out quickly. How am I going to get back to the dock? The dock seems so far away. So what if I could swim with the current of habits? What if I could swim with that current and let that current carry me. Let my habits carry me. What if I could construct my habits in such a way that by carrying out those habits, I was working towards my goals? See, habits are formed through emotion, knowing your purpose, and through repetition. Constantly taking small actions towards that goal. Repetition, doing the boring things. Doing things, right? Success is about doing small things consistently, even when you don't feel like doing them. Repetition, consistent repetition. So what stops us is our subconscious. If we know this, then why don't we just do it? Because our subconscious, all kinds of alarm bells are going off. Our subconscious doesn't understand what's going on. And when we adopt those new behaviors, those behaviors of the people that have already accomplished the goal, right? When we set a goal, we say to ourselves, what behaviors do I need to adapt? Because those behaviors then turn into the habits. Our subconscious doesn't understand what those behaviors are. And when we first start out, it quickly throws us out of alignment with our subconscious and who our subconscious believes we are. So we have to slip one past the goalie. We do that through dumbing down those behaviors to the most basic parts. Being healthy might get dumbed down to just putting walking shoes on, or going to the cupboard and throwing out one processed food item. Just one. While repeating in your mind, I am a healthy person. I am a healthy person. This is what healthy people do. Whenever I set a goal, I don't look at it from what the habit is that I need to break. I look at it from what the habit is I need to start. Back to being healthy. If I need to not have a beer when I'm outside doing yard work, that was one of my things. I was outside doing yard work. I'd always have beers and I'd put the weight on. In the summertime, when you're out there doing yard work and splitting wood and mowing grass and you're sweating, that cold beer, there's nothing like the taste of that cold beer. But if I want to stop that because the beers are going straight to my waistline, right? I have a keg instead of a six-pack down there in the belly. How do I do that? So instead of saying I have to stop drinking cold beers, I focus on what I want to do. Because when I say I have to stop drinking cold beers, that sounds depleting to me. Like, I'm just like, you're taking something from me. I decide on what I want to do instead. I want to give something. So I want to drink cold seltzers. I then make it easy to adopt that behavior. I keep seltzer in the fridge, right in the front, so it's easy to grab. As a matter of fact, when I was doing this a couple of years ago, I actually took the seltzers, put them in a cooler, and brought them out to the yard. What did that do? It created resistance for me having a beer. I'd have to walk all the way back inside to get a beer. And it made the seltzer so much easier to just grab. So I increased the resistance on the beer. I decreased the resistance on having a seltzer. And that helps build that habit. The other reason it's better to build positive habits over breaking negative ones is that when you break a habit, there's a void. And that void has to get filled. If you don't fill the void with something, then the void's going to get filled. And it's going to get filled with the same old, same old. You're back on that hamster wheel. By starting out doing the thing you want to do, you're already pre-filling that void. There is no void because the void disappears and it naturally gets filled in with what that new behavior is that's going to turn into your new habit. So let's sum all of this up. We spoke about a lot of things. We touched on a lot of points. We're going to sum everything up right now. 1, habits are ultimately what you need to achieve your goals. That's what ultimately achieves the goal. Focus on what you want to create, not what you want to break. Focusing on creation helps keep the mind calm. And a calm mind makes a great partner in building positive habits. Number 3, plant the seed of your habit by dumbing down the action. Dumb it down to its most basic steps. So healthy looks like just putting your shoes on the first day. Just throwing one thing out of the cupboard when you walk past it. Habits are important because they will either propel you to success or they're going to keep you stuck. The beauty of it is the choice is yours. So what small action will you take to sneak one past the goalie? Guys, we live up here in the numerator, not down in the denominator. I want you today to go out there and be unstoppable and absolutely crush your day. I love spending time with you guys. Have a very blessed day.